Welcome, folks, to the Devoxx UK 2025 speaker interviews. I have with me here Piotr, and I cannot pronounce your last name. Can you please help me?
It's Przybył.
I cannot pronounce it. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, not according to some systems, it's the legal last name, so I understand it.
Okay,
Yes.
I apologize. Piotr, thank you for being here with me today. You have had a co-speaker for your talk about Java in a playful way. But before diving into that, folks, I want to hear from Piotr. What has he been doing in his professional time, or what he has been dedicating his time to, if you want to tell to our audience?
So what I work as a developer advocate, and I love this meme by Antonin People, right? The King Lion. The Lion King, sorry, when the father explains the lion, everything the sun touches is your domain, right? You also work as developer.
Yeah, true.
So maybe it's not everything that sun touches, but we are, I would say, in this triangle, and the angles are basically engineering, product, and marketing, right? So myself, I levitated very much towards engineering, right? Nominally, I'm part of the engineering team, but it's always somewhere in between. So actually, we are like said, Devoxx UK, and this is like one of the activities, right? But it's also like helping the users, creating some content, and most importantly, because I think it's forgotten as well, is taking feedback from you and bringing it to relevant people inside the organizations, right? So last week we were for Greco, and sometimes we are, I'm not bragging now, right? It's just how things are. We are the best way of contacting
certain products, and share what you feel that it doesn't work for you, and because it's hard to really think when we on a product on each and every use case. And the idea is that the product needs to help as many people as possible. Otherwise, yes, it's useless. Yes, it's true.
As useful as it could be.
Yes, that's true. That's a lot of activities that you juggle there. And coming back to your talk, so learning Java in a playful way. How can you do that for with a language that is 30-year-old soon?
Okay, but I mean, I somewhat sense the assumption that if something or someone is 30 years old, the playful times are gone. Wrong. I don't agree. Okay, I don't agree. And what we meant, because I gave this talk with Mari van Dijk, if I'm not butchering her name, is or at least myself, I speak for myself, I don't like this approach when we have to dedicate 2 sprints, because we need to bump the dependencies, right? And it starts with Java and then CIs and frameworks and libraries, and it's a big thing, a big milestone. Well, I like what happened to Java, right? So it's released every 6 months. There's this release train. And basically, you try to be on schedule as much as you can, right? You try to catch up with these features. You try to use them ASAP. I don't see why people are waiting for LTS, especially if they don't pay for any support, right? If you don't pay for the support, what's the point waiting for the LTS, where S stands for support? So, sorry, I'm maybe too ranty here. And the whole idea was maybe we shouldn't dedicate too much time. It's just let's just make it part of our everyday routine, right? Upgrade as much as we can, as often as we can, and that's the whole principle behind Agile, if I get it correct, right?
Yeah.
It hurts, do it more often, right? Then you get it in small chunks, and doesn't hurt that much.
I think that the Java that we learned when we started with Java is the Java that had a certain release cadence, and we, in our minds, in some of the minds, there's still this thing that there's some, LTS is like the old, like the GA that used to be prior to 9, but it's not the same thing. I mean, the release process has changed. For a reason, because if you remember prior to JDK 9, the releases had lots of features Yes, you also got a couple of years before you were getting proficient with many of them. Okay, maybe others learn faster, but if you want to untangle each and every of them, you spend a lot of time in becoming better. So probably a lot of our viewers are working in an agile way. So if you are working agile, you know that there's some benefits of doing and deploying to production often, instead of waiting for a lot of time and then do the deploy to production. The big bang deployments. And the big bang learning had its way, but this learning in stages is better for us as humans, because you just grasp, as you say, just grasp things gradually, and you get accustomed, and you can give feedback. Isn't that great? You don't have to wait and get that's the feature.
Well, I very much like the concept of this feedback that we have incubating models and the preview features. And sometimes when it even gets to extreme, right, we both know it, some things even get like withdrawn, like what happened to string templates, right, last year.
Yes.
So now this concept is,
there was a good reason behind that.
yes, I mean, I'm not saying no, but this is like, there was good reason, but part of the reasons was also the feedback, right, from the users.
Yeah.
Structured concurrency is about to change and some other stuff. And this, I guess, encouraged, I don't know if it was first, right, but the concept that there was like features in tech preview, right?
Yes.
So Elastic is doing the same with many features. And one of the best examples that comes to my mind right now is the new language called ESQL, right? So it's not EC, it's ESQL, right?
Okay.
And it used to be for 2 versions, it was in tech preview, then it hit GA, but parts of the language and the engine that's like sits behind are like in tech preview for given periods of time, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you don't have to wait for the thing to be like, blessed or fully delivered. You can start using it, adopting it, and providing feedback, how it basically works for you, how it even feels for you, right?
Yeah.
And then you can basically label this stuff as it happens or briefly after it happens. So you don't have to be late adopter, right?
Yeah.
And shift to the left, as they say in the US.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's one important aspect of Java, giving feedback, receiving feedback, and all of that. But also, Java is used internally in the JDK. So what you see and you're using, is pretty much used in the internals of the JDK as well. And sometimes that internal feedback plus your feedback helps in shaping it in further. Getting back to your talk, what features are suited for playing with Java these days? All of them?
All of them. No, seriously.
You don't favor the language ones?
I would say it really depends on use cases, on your daily job, on your needs, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, if you are very much into performance, like the ESQL we've mentioned, right, which is like a new language with new engine like behind this, and I'm just like using it as an example also in my talk because it's the one that relies on the vector API that's from the incubator module, right? Yep. So it's stable enough to be used, right? Mm-hmm. Then it just squeezes more juice from the CPUs. Effectively, mm-hmm. you spend less time and less money on the computations, like vector search. Yeah. Also can be improved this way, and so on and so on. So this is where it's needed. But then, as an educator, I like very much the features around, compact classes, just like you get like void main, you're like basically skipping the ceremony, you get just print line, read line. You don't know that it's an implicit module import, right? You have to know when you start learning programming in general. So that's that. And then if you let's say, are a moderate fan of the computable futures, right? Then you go, of course, for structured currency. So it really depends on your use case, I would say. So I don't have a single one. I just kind of like the general concept that language or ecosystem that's, as you said, 30 years old long, and it's dead for so many years, as people complain. It's still alive, evolving, and kicking, right? So good luck trying to add some features to a system that's new system now. We call it legacy. 2 weeks after, like, we started working with it. So, yes, have some appreciation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that also backwards compatibility, yes, it's important, is because you don't have to rewrite, hopefully, your Java applications with each JDK release. So it'll be like there are some people that do full rewrites, but it's not something that you can easily do with every release. And it's not advisable to just rewrite everything all the time, like it happens with some other languages that should not be mentioned. Yes. But that aside, yes, it's an exciting time to code in Java, and it's an exciting time to experiment with new features. And folks, I would like to say, watch Piotr's and Marit's talk. The video is published on the Devoxx channel to learn more about about Java in a very playful way. Reach out to Piotr. He's on social media. So you can reach out to him and give feedback about the talk, or you can give feedback about Elastic products. If you're using Elastic products, he's very much open to getting feedback to send it to the engineers so that we can.
Why I actually was late for this interview. I was literally like passing the feedback from one of the
See, he's working hard, huh?
Yes, to one of our internal Slack channels. So even before I leave these premises, I already passed the feedback.
It's amazing.
Yes.
So folks, keep doing that, because in the end, you're going to benefit of great products, great platforms to work with in your day-to-day job. And yeah, you're just going to make your life easier. Thank you, Piotr, for coming here today.
Thank you.